Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Teper, President of Collaborative Apps and Platforms at Microsoft. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the latest SharePoint news. And a special thank you to our customers, partners, and MVPs for your trust and feedback that has helped us evolve SharePoint as the leading content cloud solution, which is more important than ever in the AI era. With over 2 million sites and 2 billion files created each and every day, SharePoint is the largest and most flexible content platform. It powers a wide range of Microsoft customer and partner applications, including our latest innovations in Teams, OneDrive, Copilot, and much more. With simple and powerful tools, workflow, security, platform capabilities, AI, and more, SharePoint is the foundation for work. Whether you're fostering collaboration, automating processes, developing applications, or informing employees, SharePoint has you covered. We launched SharePoint in 2001 with a unique point of view to blend Office and the intranet, spanning the smallest team to the largest portal. Our next step was transforming into an elastic cloud service to bring best-in-class capabilities to every organization with new value every month. And now content management is fueling AI innovation to help everyone get more work done and to help every person grow. We're driven to make SharePoint both the best platform for managing content for AI and the best application for using AI to help every person in an organization. And we're doing that through Microsoft 365 Copilot and agents. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your personal assistant that is grounded from the content you have access to in SharePoint, making Copilot helpful and secure across Microsoft 365. At Microsoft Ignite, we announced the general availability of SharePoint agents, tailored assistants for key content sets, HR, finance, R&D, and more. So just as SharePoint transformed intranet creation, we're doing the same with agents, making it easy and secure for everyone to create and share in seconds, enabling your organization to unlock its knowledge and embrace AI innovation. So as we've always said, SharePoint is both a platform and an application. And today, I am incredibly excited about the next step for the SharePoint app, powered by AI. We're making creating an intranet simple and fast with our latest experience, making it easier than ever to create engaging and useful solutions with SharePoint. With dozens of new authoring capabilities like a brand center and flexible layouts and design ideas and co-authoring and Copilot throughout the experience, the last few months have represented the biggest update in the SharePoint user experience yet. So we have an exciting showcase to show what's possible, including several experts during today's live AMA to tackle your questions, take feedback, and engage. So get ready to skill up your SharePoint IQ and discover how to bring concepts to creation and drive impact in your organization. SharePoint's moving and growing faster than ever before, and I'm truly excited for all of you to be part of this journey with us. Thank you.
Once you go, you just can't stop. I go all the way straight to the
Wow, I hope that video got you as energized and as excited as I am. Let's now take a look at how SharePoint agents are harnessing your data to revolutionize the way you work. And to share more about that, I'd like to bring up CJ, our product lead for SharePoint agents.
Amey are a UK-based organisation. We operate in safety critical industry. We design, maintain, operate and build assets for the UK infrastructure. We must touch probably 75% of everybody's life in the UK every day.
Access to safety information is critical to us, especially in the front line. Making sure that our people go home safely every day is our top priority.
We are data rich as an organisation.
Accessing that information in a timely manner is difficult.
Historically, that would have been a case of somebody stopping the work that they were doing, finding the folder that sits under the seat in their truck, looking through that folder, finding the right section, looking through the section, finding the right line.
A lot of our frontline staff don't have access to a laptop, don't have access to a computer, but they do have access to a phone. So now they're able to have an agent sitting in their pocket accessing our safety information. They can access the information that they want, where they want it, how they want it, to be safer and more efficient where they're working. How amazing is it to be able to give our frontline workers the information they're looking for at the click of a button?
Having all of that information digitized and available to you in a device where you can ask a question completely takes that challenge away.
It's completely transformative for them to be able to have a chat with that data to find the answer that they need. And not only that, they're able to do it in any language, even though the underlying documentation still remains in English.
Technology can be in all the places that our supervisors often can't. That means that they can troubleshoot some of their issues right there and then, and it can allow them to work safer or more efficiently.
And ultimately, we can get people home safe and well every single day of the week.
100% agents in SharePoint is making my job safer.
Thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I'm CJ Tan, and I lead the SharePoint Agents product. It's great to hear from Amey, and as you can see, we're putting the power of agents into the hands of those who drive growth and innovation in your organization. And now that SharePoint agents are available worldwide, all you need to start using agents is your content and an idea of how this agent will help you and your team. Whether you use this agent one-on-one to access expertise to improve your ideas, or you add it into teams as a collaborator, you're unlocking insights and actions to make better business decisions and drive real results. Now let's have a closer look at how SharePoint agents can have an impact on your business outcomes. SharePoint agents can streamline learning and information consumption, a very common scenario for people who are joining a new team, project, or company. Because every SharePoint site automatically gets an agent grounded in the site content, you have an agent that can help with onboarding right away, without any work. As long as you've granted your target audience access to the site, they will have access to this agent. And as the site owner, you can approve the list of agents that a user will see at the top of their agent picker list every time they come to your site. Now, this site's most relevant agents are just one click away, and your audience is free to ask lots of questions that they might not be willing to interrupt someone else with. SharePoint agents can help a sales organization improve their sales conversion rate by providing access to past proposals to build on the experience of others. Now, here's a folder of completed projects. Because I have read, create, and edit permissions to this document library and folder, all I have to do is select the folder and tap Create an Agent. I get this confirmation, and I can open the agent. It's ready to use. And this response that you see here is based only on the content that I have permissions to. Creation is reduced to just a couple clicks because the agent is instructed to respond with the selected resources and follow all the permissions and governance of the site. It's grounded in the content by reference, which means that any changes inside the folder, like the addition of new files, updates to existing documents, these will all be used by the agent in its next response. And the agent is always working with the latest information. So from here, I'm just going to copy this response and add it to my proposal and start to tweak it as I write the rest of the proposal. But wouldn't this agent be better if it learned from these past projects to draft a proposal using new requirements? Let me show you how to edit this agent so we can do just that. Now, the agent is already grounded in the completed project plans. And the majority of the configurations for this agent will ensure that the identity is clear about its purpose and its intended use. The instructions, however, are where I can express how this agent should behave. This agent is directed to help draft a proposal using the completed project documents for its knowledge and producing an output in a specific format. Now, when I save and close the builder, you can see the agent is a file in the document library saved right next to that folder, and it's been updated with that agent name. Now, because this is a file, it has all the properties and conveniences of a file. To create, edit, and delete an agent, you're going to need create, edit, and delete permissions. You can search for the agent by name. There's version history, file statistics, and the majority of the options in the overflow menu that make sense, like copy, move, and download. And when you click on this file as a search result, here in the document library, maybe from a sharing link or when it's synced to your desktop through OneDrive, it opens in this viewer, so you can use it right away to prepare a new proposal using a file containing the requirements. This time, instead of copying some text to add into my proposal, I can copy this response directly into a Word document and use it as the first draft for that proposal. Now, imagine that this agent is a member of your team, always ready to bring knowledge and draft proposals for you. I want to use it in places where I'm working with my team. Like here in Teams, I'm going to add this agent into a Teams chat where we're working on proposals. I address the agent in the same way that I would a member of the team with an @ gesture. And again, the agent will use my permissions to craft a response. If everyone in the chat has permissions to see the sources on which this response is based, the agent just answers in the flow of this conversation. However, if anyone in the chat does not have permissions to the sources, the asker, me in this case, is given control of what information is shared. So this dialog shows me the response from the agent, lists the files that someone in the chat doesn't have access to, shares the sensitivity label, and gives me control of whether to send the response. Now, when I choose to send the response, the access permissions of the underlying files do not change. The recipients in the chat see the response with a message indicating that I reviewed and shared it with them. Now, interacting with the agent continues to protect from oversharing and doesn't create any new processes for how the source content is shared. Onboarding and learning from past experiences like I've shown you are just two business scenarios where agents can improve how you work. But any scenario where an agent grounded in SharePoint content can be used to fact check, research, summarize, analyze, or generate recommendations can have a positive impact on business outcomes. Combined with how easy it is to create, share, and secure SharePoint agents means that this collaborative AI is really accessible to everyone. Next, let's hear from our customer Takeda on their thoughts on SharePoint agents and how they use SharePoint throughout their intranet.
My Takeda is Takeda's intranet for over 70,000 colleagues across the world. There's not one of our colleagues who aren't impacted by SharePoint. The improvements to the editing experience will allow them to focus more on the message. I believe what will most enhance their work are the new SharePoint agents. The combination of our already existing knowledge base in Pages and in Documents will be easily accessed via these agents and create an increased engagement and interactivity.
It's truly amazing to see the potential that SharePoint agents will have across organizations around the world, and I'm excited for all of you to try them yourselves today. Now let's dive into the newest capabilities that will allow you to create some of the most beautiful and engaging SharePoint sites and pages. And for that, I'd like to hand it off to Melissa, our lead for SharePoint sites and pages.
Thanks, Jeff. Hey everyone, I'm Melissa Torres, the product leader for SharePoint sites and pages. As Jeff said, SharePoint is the foundation for work in the enterprise, allowing you to both build beautiful, engaging content and automate critical business workflows. Today, I'm excited to share some great innovation we are bringing to both these areas. It's a huge responsibility to empower so many creators, which is why about 18 months ago, we embarked on an overhaul of the SharePoint site user experience. We are on a mission to simplify the authoring experience, Enable the creation of compelling content with the best looks on the web in your site to increase knowledge and engagement. We've added dozens of new features to the authoring experience over the last few months, along with a brand new UX that really ties together the biggest set of improvements we've brought to SharePoint in the history of the product. Let's take a look at how we bring together Copilot and the new AI-powered design ideas to make it super simple to create beautiful pages from scratch. Our new Create with Copilot experience gives you a range of templates to choose from, or you can start from the prompt as well. I can choose from the templates, make some modifications to the pre-generated prompt to ensure I get the sections of the page that I want. We hear this a lot from customers. They have existing content and they need help making it look great in SharePoint. You can easily give Copilot existing documents to work with. And just like that, get a visually stunning, professional-looking, and fully populated page. But what if I want to make some more tweaks? I can leverage the Editor Copilot to adjust the tone and the length of the page. It's not only about reducing time to value, but building beautiful and compelling sites and pages. Next, Section Design Ideas takes your very own content and gives you more options for interesting ways to display it. Don't know how to get started? Design Ideas can also help you get started from an entirely blank section as well, in case you prefer to pick a layout and work your content into it. Finally, we can even take plain blocks of text and get suggestions for how to make them more engaging. Now, content in SharePoint can look good, but I have something in mind that's not possible today because we only support 1 to 3 columns. We're giving you flexibility in our canvas by introducing flexible sections, which gives you access to all 12 columns on the canvas, where you can freely move elements around and resize them as you need. This will unlock a ton of possibility. If you need inspiration for what you'll be able to build, Section Templates has been updated with a brand new set of flexible section-inspired designs that you can take and customize to make your own. I can't wait to see what you are all able to build with it. There are many more other features we've added, from new web parts like editorial cards to updating existing web parts like Hero with entirely new layouts. For those who want to use fonts and colors, we introduced Brand Center with custom font support, and soon we'll be releasing theming updates that allow more colors than ever before. To see these and more additional capabilities in action, check out the in-depth video for a walkthrough, and to learn more how you can leverage them for your organization. Here is a look at how we are using these capabilities on our very own intranet here within Microsoft. National Australia Bank is a leading financial services company that provides banking services to individuals and businesses in Australia, New Zealand, and other countries. Here are some examples of their web pages using the latest SharePoint features and design tools. SharePoint is not just about creating beautiful, engaging content. With over 2 billion files added to SharePoint each day, and over 2 billion flows interacting with that content each week, SharePoint is the most powerful platform to deliver your business process solutions and orchestrate critical workflows. Today, we're showcasing new AI-driven capabilities, which you can use to supercharge end-to-end workflows for your content. Let's start with autofill, which enriches your content by using LLM prompts to extract and generate structured metadata. What used to take hours to do manually can be automated in just minutes. Let's see it in action. The product summary column provides a quick overview of each document content using autofill. It generates a brief 2-sentence summary for each file and updates automatically when new files are uploaded. This showcases the convenience and efficiency of autofill in action. And we're working on making it even better. Here is a sneak peek on what's coming next. A new entry point for managing custom columns that shows you what columns are set up with the autofill feature. assistance with setting up multiple columns simultaneously, and even cooler, suggesting new metadata to extract or generate. Column suggestions and prompts are made using the existing library contents. The prompts can then be edited and tested against multiple library files. Autofill is one of my favorite new features and saves a ton of time in creating, cleaning up, and organizing metadata, which you can then take and use to build new views, filters, and even business processes, specifically automations. You'll also notice the approval status column, which is our new lightweight integration with both Teams Approvals app and the underlying Power Platform Approvals service. Available now in any of your lists, soon we're bringing that same easy enable experience to your document libraries. Without ever leaving SharePoint, I can select the item I want to send out for approval, add the approvers, add details on my request, and submit. You can then easily view and approve submitted items right from SharePoint. If you prefer working in Teams, no problem. You can handle the same requests using the Teams Approvals app. You can also set up a flow in SharePoint that automatically posts updates to Teams. This includes the product summary generated by Autofill and custom actions linking back to SharePoint. And beyond Autofill, we also have features like OCR and document translations that help improve AI understanding of your files and content. You can learn more about these in the in-depth demo bench video on automation. These are great examples of how you can bring together the building blocks of SharePoint to tailor solutions to optimize your business workflows and drive outcomes. I couldn't be more excited for all of these great features that have come to SharePoint over the last few years. These tools will really bring your ideas and creativity to life and allow you to collaborate and work more efficiently than ever before. Now let's hear from Avanade and how they're leveraging the latest innovations to redesign their SharePoint sites.
Avanade specializes in digital and cloud services, business solutions, and design-led experiences leveraging Microsoft technology. The new SharePoint innovations have significantly empowered our organization by enhancing Avanade Digital Hub and Internet services. Leveraging several SharePoint innovations such as the design ideas, sections, section backgrounds, and advanced image editing, and the page toolbox. SharePoint is an incredibly versatile platform that enables organizations to create, manage, and share content seamlessly.
Wow, what an incredible journey. Today, we've explored how SharePoint has evolved from a traditional intranet to the world's largest and most flexible AI content management platform. Our team highlighted the power of AI integration in SharePoint with Microsoft 365 Copilot and SharePoint agents, truly harnessing your content to help you work and collaborate more efficiently, leading to new ways to innovate in your organizations. We then saw the many improvements we've introduced to make your experience easier than ever to create beautiful, engaging, informative sites and pages, driving impact across your business and putting you at the center of creativity. But there's more. We're hosting a hackathon over the coming weeks where all the features demonstrated today and more will be available for use. So stay tuned for more details on that. And be sure to check out our in-depth videos packed with valuable insights, deep diving into the topics covered today, and much more. And I personally invite you to join us this May in Las Vegas for this year's Microsoft 365 conference, where you'll learn and discover more incredible news coming to SharePoint, Teams, Copilot, and all of Microsoft 365. So let's continue to innovate and make the most of SharePoint together. Thank you so much for joining us today to celebrate this incredible moment in the SharePoint experience. But don't go just yet, because up next, we'll have our live AMA with our SharePoint team, who is eagerly waiting to engage with all of you and answer your questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live AMA. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Was all that stuff that's happening in SharePoint not fantastic? My name is Karuana Gatimu. I am the Director of Customer Advocacy for AI and Collaboration and a longtime SharePoint lover. So I'm really thrilled to be here with this amazing team of product makers who are going to share with you answers to your questions. We have a few things to say ahead of time, but I want to bring on my partner in crime, Rob, who's going to help field those questions for all of you as we meet the SharePoint team. We have lots of resources. I've been watching the chat. You have lots of questions. We have a community for you. We have a new adoption page for you. Rob, is this not a lot of fun? Are you having a good time?
Absolutely exciting. And I'm super excited for all the announcements and features that we shared today. And I really can't wait to see what you all leverage with all of the new features in SharePoint. And, can't wait to see all of the great things that you build.
Absolutely. Well, let's just hop into it. Let's get some questions going for our audience. Thanks for watching us live, too. We really appreciate that. And anybody who sees all this on demand, we're really appreciative of your time and interest in SharePoint, as always. So let's figure out, what are people asking? Let's bring people on air.
Let's dive in. So sure. I think, so we have one of our first questions here. So first question is not so much an AI question, but Microsoft announced a new UI template that would allow us to build SharePoint sites that look more like WordPress. This was announced over a year ago. When will we see these new authoring capabilities / templates? And I think this might be a question for Melissa. So Melissa, you mind touching on that a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Rob. And thanks everybody for the question. This is a great way to get started. So what is exciting is some of these capabilities are already available now, from section backgrounds to image shapes to design ideas where you can show you how to build and give you ideas. These are available now. And so the next set of capabilities are starting just to roll out now with editorial card, as well as the flexible sections in the new hero. And so now that we're rolling out all these capabilities, the next set is delivering templates to make that even easier for you. But even with flexible sections, we're going to include some templates to help you get started as well. So I would say a lot of the goodness is in. Expect some additional goodness to come in the next quarter, in this quarter, and hold on actual templates, because that's something we're working on right now.
Because I think people are super excited about the flexible sections. So another question we have is, can you share some information about how flexible sections work? And can we opt into a preview of this feature?
Yeah, I am so excited for flexible sections because it's really going to unlock so much creativity. And it's something that I think is really going to make standout, beautiful pages. And so it's something that we're starting to roll out in this quarter. We're starting with a private preview right now. So we can put more information on that later in the comments. And in terms of how it works, it's going to be a new type of section that you'll be able to add. And it's flexible by nature. So that means you can drop web parts on it, resize web parts to your content, and rearrange elements exactly like you want, rather than being limited to the column structure we had before. So really, really excited to see not only how you can get used to it and what you can build with it.
Fantastic.
And what's wonderful about this is these folks are so excited about everything that's happening in SharePoint that they didn't even tell you who they are. I want to make sure that you know what Rob and Melissa are doing, because you want to follow these folks at the events like Microsoft 365 conference and other places online. So Rob and Melissa, will you introduce yourself and let folks know what you do for SharePoint?
Absolutely. So my name is Rob Nunez. I lead for marketing at Microsoft for SharePoint and OneDrive, and been working with the lovely folks on this team on a ton of features and products that we have to come. So thank you, and excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm Melissa Torres. I'm a product manager lead for the SharePoint Sites and Pages area. And yeah, I was just so excited to jump in and answer questions that I totally missed that. So thank you, Karuana.
You're welcome. I love excitement. Excitement is more important than process. So, enthusiasm is a management principle. Now I know we have other folks on air. So Rob, what's our next question?
Yeah, so our next question is going to be for CJ. So can you let me know how to edit a SharePoint agent that I've already made?
Hi, everyone. I'm CJ Tan, I'm product manager, and I get to lead the team that is bringing you SharePoint agents. So for editing a SharePoint agent, there's actually a few different ways that you can get to it. right from our picker. So if you are on a SharePoint site and you open up the Copilot picker at the top on your suite nav, you're going to get a sidecar. You're going to see a bunch of agents there. If your agent is there already that you created previously, there's a menu item there where you can go in and you just edit it, and that'll pull up the builder. The other way to do this is to actually go into and find the file, because as you saw earlier, SharePoint agents are just saved as a file. When you click on that file, it will open up in the viewer, and then there's going to be a menu item in the top right under a ... And again, there you can edit it, and now you can go in there and edit that agent that you've created. Of course, you're going to need edit permissions to that file where it's actually saved in order to edit that file. So, a lot of times, the things that you create, there's going to be no problem. If you're helping a team member or you're editing somebody else's agent, just be aware that edit capability is going to be permissioned based on what your permissions are on where it's saved. It's a great question, though.
Great question.
That is a great question. And I wanted to call out for folks that we're going to answer your questions live as we're doing here. You can find a lot more information on our SharePoint event adoption page. And we produced for you a set of deep dive technical videos where you can go even deeper with all the features that folks are talking about. So if you don't get your question answered, we have this training for you. There's lots more documentation there, and we'll be following up also in our SharePoint community with questions that we may not get to on air. So we've got you on this process of learning how to use all these new features. So Rob, let's take another question. I think we had one on agent costing. Was that what was next?
Yeah, we had a few on agent costing, so we could touch on that one next. So CJ, still on the topic of agents here. So when will agents be rolled out? What's the pricing structure? I don't see it available on my current SharePoint sites, so presume I don't have suitable subscription.
Yeah, so the first thing you need, the easiest way to get the SharePoint agents is to have the M365 Copilot license. So that will allow you to get access to that, as well as all the other Copilot, the many Copilot features that we have, including what's in OneDrive. If you do not have a license, we did introduce a way to get it through a consumption billing meter. And so there's a new meter that's available that you can set up specifically for SharePoint agents. And that will allow anybody who does not have a license to have access to that as well. So once that meter is set up, whenever a SharePoint agent is used, you can create them and test them out there. That's going to use that consumption billing method. Now, in addition to that, what you will have also seen is that we are running a promotion right now, so that if you do have 50 or more Copilot licenses, you will get 10,000 messages every month to try out SharePoint agents. And what we want to do with that is really give you an opportunity to see how people are using it, where are people using it, is it being used, what does it look like to have 10,000 messages for your organization, and how quickly or how slowly that goes as people pick up agents as a really key part of their workflow. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, CJ. All right, so let's move on to our next question. So we have a question. The SharePoint user experience has gone through tremendous changes over the last few years in terms of performance and reliability. You're close to the true nuts and bolts of engineering SharePoint experience. What is the most impressive to you as you think about how we continue to tune the system? So Suyag, I think this might be in your realm. So first off, introduce yourself to the audience, and feel free to answer the question as well. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rob. And this is super exciting to see everybody commenting on Flex sections and all the new stuff we're introducing. I'm Suyog. I am the group engineering manager for the engineering team that brings you the sites and pages. And my team is part of all this awesome work that's happening here. In terms of how we are looking at reliability and performances, this is fundamentals, and we always obsess over the fundamentals and making sure that we have a lot of unit tests and testing. But not only that, we also have internally a lot of culture of what we call dog fooding, which means going and testing our stuff internally before we release. So when we combine our fundamentals and the dog fooding coverage, we get to innovate really quickly. On top of that, some of the more interesting stuff that I want to bring here is as we go and do some of the overhauls, we have our current customers that are depending on all our stuff. So it is super exciting to go and innovate while also maintaining a product that is used by millions of users daily. So yeah, that it's a balance, and that's how we strike it every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Suyog. Thank you so much. And it's great to hear all the work that's going into what you guys have been working on as well. So thank you for that. Okay, so our next question. I'm a bit unclear on how much SharePoint agents will cost for staff without a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Do they use 2 messages, or are they classed as using the graph data and will use 30 messages? So CJ, I think this is for you as well.
Thanks, Rob. So the messaging right now, actually, I'm actually going to have to verify that as well, and I can get back to you with that message as well. I don't want to make any mistakes in response to that.
No worries. And the chat is open, so we will be able to answer questions in the live chat after the event is done. So feel free to continue asking questions, and our products teams will be able to answer your questions later on in the day and throughout the week as well. So thank you, CJ. So Karuana, I know there's a ton of comments coming in, but what do you see on your side? Any good questions popping up?
I think this is going to be for Corey. We saw the new autofill feature, which is a huge time saver once it's set up. Corey, do you have any guidance or tips and tricks people should know so that they can automate what they do? And I think this also speaks to some questions I saw in the other feed on YouTube about automation and autofill for metadata and what have you. So Corey, enlighten us on this one. And
hey everyone.
So everyone knows who you are.
Hey everyone, I'm Corey, and my team focuses on content AI, automations, and also solutions for SharePoint. I'm excited to actually share with you the kind of the investments that we've been making in autofill. In this event you saw earlier that we were demonstrating autofill, which is really taking the power of generative AI and applying it to a column setting. So you can basically attach a prompt to a column, and that prompt can do 3 things. So when you're thinking about automations, a lot of times you want to take your unstructured content and provide some structure around it. So there's kind of 3 ways to think about how you could use these autofill prompts to create that structure that then can fuel automations and improve search downstream. One of those ways is to classify your documents. So you can structure a prompt to figure out what kind of documents you have in your library. Once your documents are classified, you can use similar prompts to actually extract data out of those documents, providing that structure that then can bridge off into either rules within the SharePoint platform or leveraging the breadth of the Power Automate suite that integrates very directly into SharePoint. And the last really cool thing that you can do with the prompt in the autofill column is you can actually generate new content. So the prompt, just like your conversations with Copilot, can be very open-ended. It's grounded in the actual document that it's running against, but you can generate new content in that metadata output. So that's actually like something kind of unique about the usage of the generative AI feature is that you can not only classify, you can generate, but you can also extract information. And then again, the structure of that is really what fuels your automations downstream.
You know, I could listen to you talk about that all day long. That is just so cool. I'm a complete SharePoint geek and I love process automation. So you're speaking my language for sure. We have a follow-up to that, which I think is really interesting, which is someone asked, is it still a good idea in 2025 to create an enterprise content type from the content type hub when it comes to driving automations and also classifying information?
Yeah, I think that like we're always going to encourage you to leverage the breadth of the SharePoint platform. It has many different primitive like containers and features and capabilities that allow you to provide better structure around your content. So yes, I would still highly recommend the usage of content types, but content types have always been something that are left to your discretion. You don't need them for some scenarios, but with a content type, you can actually provide consistency across multiple libraries and sites using the same content type structure. So that's really where that comes into play.
That is fantastic. I just, SharePoint has evolved so much, and I do want to call up our audience to, we're celebrating 50 years of Microsoft this year, and when you think about the evolution that SharePoint has been on, from a performance and flexibility to the features, and now we're talking about SharePoint agents, it's really pretty amazing. But communications is more important than ever. So you need beautiful sites to share information broadly and have it be available everywhere. So that's what folks are talking about here. Rob, what do you have? I know you have some more questions from our audience.
Indeed, we do. So we have a few more questions coming in. So more questions around flexible sections. So can you use existing third-party web parts in flexible sections, or does that require code changes to be compatible? So Melissa, this one is for you.
Yes. So yes, you can use third-party web parts on flexible sections from day one. You'll just be able to drag them. Now, they will resize how they resize today. If you want them to be able to flexibly resize, that's something that you'll have to do changes for. But that's only something that if you need for your web part. And so as part of the release of flexible sections, we're updating our documentation for how you would go and bring in that resizing. But if not, you can drop them into the flexible section.
Thank you, Melissa. And we have a follow-up to that as well. So are you able to lock down Brand Center to meet brand guidelines, not allow users to steer too far away from key templates and designs?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's definitely something we've heard about. As of this moment, the answer is no. We have no mechanism to be able to kind of lock it down. We do want customers and organizations to be using Brand Center. It's a great way to promote using your organization's brand with the custom fonts and theming. And so we highly encourage and suggest that organizations that care about branding and coming through in their sites and pages, make sure to use the Brand Center. But in terms of kind of disabling or removing the ability to manage at the local site, it's something that at this point we're thinking about.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. Awesome. So as we continue on, so we have a question around agents. So can you please share more details on what admin settings are available for managing the agents, usage reports, agents created, etc.? Is there options available to disable access to create agents across the tenant? So CJ, this one's for you.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, there's actually a gamut of things that we can talk about here. As far as administration controls, like I mentioned, this agent that you're creating is a file. And so we have adopted and followed along using the file permissions that are already very well thought out on your SharePoint sites. So the premise here is if you have people creating content on your site, these are people who want to and will want to find ways to share and get access to that information and share it out. And these agents are really primed to help them do that. So they will have permissions. People creating the content will have permissions to create agents on their content as well. That's a great way for people to get started on SharePoint agents. There's site owner controls that we have around how you can set up the approved and the site default items as well, so that you can actually set up a great experience for your audience that's coming to that SharePoint site. And one thing that we've heard that is a really big sticking point is around just the sensitivity on the data that actually ends up being used in a lot of these SharePoint agents. And we've taken the approach to actually have a look at how you're organizing your content now. So we really want you to think about, in general, when we think about AI and how you're using Copilot, how we can help you manage that. And so the SharePoint agents will also follow anything that you set up from a restricted content position within the SharePoint admin management system. So from that perspective, you have one way to think about your data across the organization, and then the SharePoint agents will actually use that as well. From a usage and an analytics perspective, right now in product, what we do have is data and statistics on the file itself. So it is around the file statistics for the agent file that you have. So you can go in there and see how frequently people have opened and viewed that file. And we'll have way more to share as 2025 goes on, but we are adding a lot more analytics to help people really understand the usage for that, not just from the SharePoint agent perspective, but also to help you make some of your buying decisions. So you'll see those coming out soon too.
I'm so excited that people are asking so many questions about agents, but I want to remind folks out there that if you're not there yet, there's still so many beautiful things to do with SharePoint. It's an evolution of building great portals and sites and making sure that you're using everything. So, we have information for you all along that process. Both for the wonderful agents and their ease of access and creation, but also for core creation. And we haven't forgot about some very important people that are near and dear to my heart out there in the public sector. We have a question, and Sujag is going to answer this for us, about how we ship to GCC. So for those of you who don't know, that is our government cloud, GCC and GCC High. And the question is, when are some of these features going to come to GCC? And when will they see these updates of amazing features? Sujag, you want to take that one?
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. I'll just at a high level explain how we ship features, and that will make it pretty obvious how this all reflects. So when we roll out code, we start with what are called RTR, which means the audience who wants to take the latest and greatest features and play with them. And once we get through that, then it starts rolling out through what we call rings of deployment and rollout. The reason we do that is as we go and expand the number of people who have access to it, we get our telemetry, our alerting to make sure that our features are really stable. And once we do that, we roll it out to what we call entire prod. And at end of it, when the production is stable, is when we go to Gov, because typically that's where they are typically our most sensitive and restricted customers, and which is why we are extra careful about rolling out to that last ring. The other thing is there are sometimes restrictions on some of the services that Gov may or may not use, and we have to evaluate whether all the features we do have an equivalent or the same service. If it's the same service, it will get out faster. But if you want to develop something that is equivalent, which is even more secure, those are the things that take more time.
Right.
So,
that's fantastic. And just a reminder that people can visit the Microsoft 365 roadmap site. And that roadmap site allows you to filter features by your environment. So if you're in GCC or GCC High, you can filter the roadmap that way, and then you'll be able to see expected dates of new capabilities as they're rolling out by the environment that you're in. But we always are thinking about those folks in the public sector environments. And while I have you, I wanted to ask you one more question. We talked about fundamentals and performance and reliability a little bit at the beginning, but it's such an important part of managing a critical system like this. When you think about the future and the work that you're doing in the future, what's something that you're really excited about that you're continuing to monitor or look at? We have so much telemetry that I know you all use in the way that you think about the service and its operations. What can you share with folks about that who are the business users or builders on SharePoint?
Absolutely. So some of the things that I'm super excited about is, as you know, with the features, the key features we are rolling out around flex layouts and co-auth. The big thing is these are fundamental changes to how our canvas behaves. Co-authoring is a fundamental change to how our canvas is stored. So going and doing these two really big almost surgeries on a system that has been working so well has been exciting, but also comes with its own challenges, which is why we are very careful about how we stage it, and also early previews, going and talking to the customers, but more importantly, they're doing a daily dog food and making sure that the features are used internally every day so that all the small gaps and issues are found early. And that's what excites me every day. I use the page authoring every day, and sometimes we find some very interesting issues, and to go and debug them and find out how they interact across 2 or 3 different stacks. That's super exciting. Thanks, Karuana.
And, I just want people to know that as we think about AI capabilities across Microsoft 365, we're hyper-focused on the fundamentals of performance, reliability, and scale and accessibility. these things are foundational to the awesomeness that are our services. And so you hear us talking a lot about AI and new capabilities, but behind the scenes, we're always thinking about fundamentals. So I wanted to give SIUG an opportunity so that people like me could geek out on things like that. That is great. I know, Rob, we have some more questions. I think we're going to ask a question now about auto translation. Is that what we're going to talk about?
Indeed, we do. So the next question is, will the auto translation option be also available for SharePoint pages? So Melissa, you want to touch on that question?
Hi. So this is a really great request. We have gotten customers ask us at this point, not something that we're working on yet, but please give the feedback coming so that it becomes something that we're like, yeah, let's go do. With that said, though, we do have auto translation capabilities in other parts of the product. So I do want to bring on Corey, if you're still there.
Hey. Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, it's great to hear the signal around page translation. What we do have already available in the platform for you to use today is file translation. So we know that many of you work both in global businesses, also globally with your customers. And so file translation is a feature capability that we have already in the platform today. And actually, just here at the end of January, we rolled out 2 new changes to translation. One of those changes is the ability to translate a single document in up to 10 languages in one, kind of fell swoop. And the other is to actually use a translation glossary. We know that there are many terms or certain translation specifics that you might want to specify as you translate files across your SharePoint system. And so you can actually specify a glossary now too. So you can check that feature out in document libraries today. And we actually showcase a little bit of this in the session that we're doing a deep dive on content AI and automations with my colleague, Nate.
Thank you, Melissa and Corey. Fantastic. So we have a ton of more questions coming in. So we'll touch on a few more. And I think we have a really good question in the chat here. So what is the best way to add a Copilot agent directly onto a page rather than using the top menu? We love to make them easier to find for users who may not know to visit the Copilot icon at the top. And I know currently for agents, they currently live on all SharePoint sites in that top right-hand corner. But CJ, is there any thoughts on potentially some other areas that the agent might show up on a SharePoint site?
Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of having the authoring and the beautiful designs that Melissa and her team have put together, and that the agent is a file. So if you think about all the web parts that we have already, that link to files, that display files, you're able to do that. We have an example where you could use the highlighted content and put a link to the agent that you want people to discover there with a beautiful graphic. When they click on that link, it's going to open up in what we call that big immersive viewer that we have. You can start using it right away. From there, you can share as well. You could also put it into the quick links folder if you wanted a section on your page that is just linking off to all these great agents that people can find and make that more visible on your homepage. And even just dropping a link on a page that you're writing where you're directing people to that, that's a great way to draw attention to that as well. So I think you really can take advantage of all the existing web parts that we have that can link off to files, can use files, because when you click on that link, it's going to take you to that immersive viewer that we have so that you can start using that agent right away. So it's a great way to incorporate it across the site and not have to have a dedicated web part. Although I have heard feedback that that's something that people want as well. So, keep giving us that feedback.
Fantastic. And I think we have time for one more question, CJ, and this still ties into the agent piece. So will there be a place where we can see all or just an overview of the numbers of agents created for SharePoint sites being made throughout the organizations?
Yeah, thank you for the feedback for that. It's definitely something that we are working on making sure that we can get that information to you. Like I mentioned, in product right now, we just have that file analytics, that file statistics, which does mean on a site basis, you can go and actually look at the site analytics to see which files are popping, and you'll start to see agent files go there as your organization use more of that. But we definitely hear the feedback on needing the broader analytics on getting it across the organization. And yeah, and keep sending us that feedback, and we'll keep pushing out the features that meet those requirements.
That is fantastic. Thank you to everyone who participated today in this event. Thank you, CJ, and all the product group folks who came to share information and questions. We love taking your questions. We know we didn't get to all of them, but that's why you'll be able to share this event with your colleagues and also join us in the community. We're going to be going back into the chat after the event and answering as many questions as we can, making sure to follow up with all of you. But make sure you check out this recap blog because we have a lot of resources that I think will be helpful to you. From this blog, you'll be able to get to our SharePoint event adoption page. And this page has that deep dive information, the playlist of demo videos and information that we created for you to support all of the features we've been talking about today. You'll also be able to get to our Copilot Hub. I saw so many of you asking questions about readiness for SharePoint agents and governance around Copilot experiences and licensing. And in our Copilot Hub and our technical readiness guide, we have all the setup information that you need that will cover all the Copilot experiences that you have, including SharePoint agents. So make sure to check that out. We couldn't be happier to see all of you here virtually, but we'd really like to see you at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference that's going to be happening in Las Vegas this spring in May. You have to join us there because then you get to meet people like CJ and Corey and Melissa and Sia in person and really have those deeper conversations. It is a fantastic place to increase your technical skill, but there's also a track there for communications professionals. I'll be there, of course, talking about adoption and change management. We'll have awesome community reporters, and it will be so much fun. So if you can, join us there. But as always, you can find us out in the community talking and answering questions. There are community days events all around the world that are free technical skilling events, and we couldn't be happier to see you all there. The entire ecosystem and community that is around Microsoft 365 and SharePoint in particular is the best community in tech, and that's because we're here to help each other understand everything we can about these capabilities and how we can really use them to land your business objectives, right? Features are only as good as the value that they deliver for you in your scenario and in your organization, and we know that. So everyone here who is dedicated on innovating new things and making beautiful sites really wants to make sure that you get the most out of it. So visit our blog, share this event with other people, join us in the community, and try to join us at the Microsoft 365 conference so we can meet you in person because we love to do that. Never hesitate to come up and say hello to any of us. We'd love to talk to you. That's a perk of our jobs, is to be able to talk to all of you out there in the community. On behalf of Microsoft and the SharePoint team, I want to thank you for joining us today. And for those of you watching on demand, thank you for giving us your time. Remember, ask your questions in the community and reach out whenever we can help you get even more from SharePoint. We're here to help you raise your SharePoint IQ together and have a little fun along the way. Thank you so much. Have a great day wherever you are.